Good noontime, Sam. Thank you very much. And to all of you who have welcomed us so warmly, I'm grateful for that. And to all of you who have said so many nice things about our work in the Commonwealth and in the region, I hope to say a few things about that, but thank you for the welcome that you have given us. There's one person that I want to recognize because Governor Kane called me and asked me if I would come and participate in this meeting, and I would never turn him down. He's been an extraordinary leader in the Commonwealth and a friend and somebody who, I agree with that, and someone who, like your current governor, has taken a great deal of interest in transportation and been a visionary for transportation. So, Tim, thank you for making sure that I showed up here. All of your phone calls were important to me to make sure that I knew how important this meeting really is. And I know it's an important meeting, and I know transportation is important to all of you. I've been in the job 3 years, and I've traveled to 15 countries looking at high-speed rail, and I've traveled to all but, I think, 2 states in the country and in over 250 cities. And I think people around the country, when they think of transportation, think of places like New York and Chicago and places certainly in California. But the truth is, the Commonwealth and this region is a transportation mecca. And you've had extraordinary leadership. Many of you in this room have been extraordinary leaders. The reason that this is such an economic oasis, if you will, for the country is because you have good transportation. Whether it's the port, the airports, the roads, the bridges, the light rail, the transit, you name it, you have it. And the people in this area are blessed. I came here to say that those that have been involved in transportation, those that have been involved in leadership, have been visionaries. You wouldn't have the kind of corridors of economic activity, the corridors of economic engine that you have without extraordinary leadership. And it doesn't happen because of politics. It happens because people set aside politics for good policy. Your current governor, a Republican, has appointed what I believe is one of the best secretaries of transportation in the country. Sean Connaughton and I have worked very closely together, and he's been a great leader for the state. When Tim was governor, he had a great transportation program. He was a visionary for transportation. That's why this area is blessed as a mecca for transportation, and that's why, with good transportation, you can attract the kind of economic activity, the kind of jobs that you've been able to do. And so I congratulate you for that. Many of you came up to me today and thanked me for our involvement in making sure that the Silver Line is completed. And I thank you for that. But that vision was really created by other people. We wanted to make sure that that vision was really carried out. When I stood on the platform and had the privilege of being an observer for President Obama's inauguration, and I had been an observer before as a member of Congress, and I had been on the platform for other presidents. But for President Obama's swearing in, it was quite extraordinary to see over 2 million people gathered on the Mall in Washington. Very few of those people got to the mall by car. They got there by a great transportation system in this region. I don't know if that could have happened any other place. That's why I compliment the metro system all the time, and the way that they deliver people around this region is quite extraordinary. And I know from time to time they take their criticism, but they deserve a lot of kudos for great leadership over a long period of time. People who come to Washington almost always use the metro system to get around. It's one of the best. This metro system in this region is America's metro system because of all of the visitors who come to the region. So I'm really here today to say congratulations to all of you. You need to keep up the great work that you've been doing. You need to continue to have the vision that you have had. The silver line and finishing that project is not only important for the region, for Northern Virginia, it will be a model for the country. A model in terms of how people came together of different political persuasions, set aside their own agendas, set aside their own egos, and figured out a way to deliver people from all over the region out to that part of Northern Virginia. And it's very important. Many of the people that will ride that train are people who, in some instances, can little afford an automobile or to buy a gallon of gasoline. They'll probably be going to work at some business or company or at the airport. That's an important aspect of that. I think most people think it's going to be important because it will become an economic corridor. It obviously will create jobs. It'll deliver people to Dulles Airport. But it also is the kind of transportation that can become the model for the country and a model for people really coming together. Now, our task was not easy when we gathered at DOT and tried to figure out how we could reduce the amount of money that was going to have to be used to finish the project. And again, I want to compliment Governor McDonald and Sean. They put some money on the table. We put some additional money on the table. Our friends at the Airport Authority had to hold their nose and swallow hard, a few of them anyway, but so did other people. And we wanted to make sure that people that are using the toll roads didn't have to pay exorbitant prices. I think we put together a very good agreement. This will be a model for the country when it's complete. And many of you in this room deserve credit for the vision. And the elected leaders certainly do. So what it is an example of when you do big things, they're always controversial. Just for starters, they are. Any of you in elective office, whether you're in the legislature or on the county board or wherever you're serving, you know that. When you do something big, it's going to be controversial. This will be a model. This will be the idea of the definition of the vision thing for this region. So I'm delighted we could play a part in making sure that it happens. And that's the kind of message we've been trying to take around the country in order to persuade our friends on Capitol Hill that they should pass a transportation bill. The kind of projects that you all have worked on over a long period of time, whether it's expanding 66 or the expansion of the I-94 corridor or what's going on the Silver Line or many other projects, could not have been done if there was not a bipartisan atmosphere about transportation. I served in Congress for 14 years. 6 of those years I was on the Transportation Committee. We passed 2 transportation bills during that time that I was on the committee. In both cases, those bills passed the House with over 400 votes and the Senate with over 80 votes. Transportation has always been bipartisan. This room is proof of that. Your vision is proof of that. What we need to do, and my message is, what we need to do is get back to that today, a few miles from here. Pass a transportation bill, make it bipartisan, and you know what will happen? A lot of people will go to work. America is hurting right now. We don't feel it that much in this region, but America's hurting with 9% unemployment, and in the building and construction trades, over 15% unemployment. The $48 billion that we received as a part of the economic recovery plan, we spent in 2 years, by the book, no boondoggles, no earmarks, no sweetheart deals, 65,000 people, 15,000 projects. The stimulus worked when it came to infrastructure. Don't let anybody tell you differently. And Virginia, the Commonwealth, benefited mightily from the economic stimulus money that came through the Department of Transportation. That's what we need to do for America. We need to have a 5-year transportation bill, a big plan, a pot of money, so that people have certainty and the visions that people have around the country for more transit, for more roads, for more bridges, for more transportation opportunities, more runways at airports, more new airports. If Congress doesn't get a program passed, we will be outcompeted by our friends in China. We will be. You know what's going on there. Any of you have been there? High-speed trains all over the country, airports all over the country, roads and bridges all over the country. That's what America used to do. That's what we should get back to. And do it in a bipartisan way. Set aside, my message is for Congress, set aside politics for 1 week. Have a debate about transportation, pass a bill, and put America to work. That's what we need. We need to take the model from the Commonwealth and send that message over to Capitol Hill. That's what America needs. It's very disappointing. We've gone 2.5 years beyond the last transportation bill. We will not make the kind of progress that you all have made here if Congress doesn't pass a transportation bill. It's not about President Obama, it's not about LaHood, it's about American jobs, building America's infrastructure. That's what this is about. That's what we've always been about in America. That's what Congress has always been about. My 14 years of service, we made a lot of progress. We passed 2 transportation bills, and it was done in a bipartisan way. That's what the American people want. They're tired of all this politics stuff. So I say set it aside, get to work for the American people, for American jobs. Take the Commonwealth model. Send that message out. We need your help on this. We really do. You all have some extraordinary leaders in Congress, and they understand the value of transportation. They understand the idea that if you create transportation projects and fund them, people in the Commonwealth will go to work and people in the region will go to work. We need to take that model and get that message across to Congress. So the message that I have today is a message that I've taken all over America. Forget about this one-upsmanship for a minute. Forget about who gets the credit. There's plenty of credit always to go around for big projects. Look at the credit that everybody deserves on the Silver Line. Everybody, whether it's Fairfax, Loudoun, the Commonwealth, the Airport Authority, the Metro Board, they were all at the table. We weren't talking about politics. We were talking about how to get something done for the people. That model should be used on Capitol Hill. So that's our message. Take the Commonwealth model, cooperation, bipartisanship, set aside politics for the American worker. It's not that complicated. It's actually pretty simple. And if the Congress were to do that, it would put a lot of Americans to work. Everybody, I don't know if it's true in this room, but in many places where I go, everybody knows somebody that's unemployed. And everybody knows what a lousy feeling it is to have knowing somebody that's unemployed. And in most places in America, every family has a family member that's unemployed. America is hurting. The way to put America back to work is to pass a transportation bill, to pass the jobs bill. It works. You've all proven it. You can sit back on your laurels, and I know you won't, because you're visionaries, and you know the value. You got good leadership in the Commonwealth. Some of that needs to be transferred across the river here. So thank you for all your leadership. Thank you for the way that you've gotten things done. We use the Silver Line, but we use other things, the metro system as a model for the country. In Denver, we just funded a rail project that will have 6 rail lines connecting all of the suburbs of Denver. Because of a visionary who's now the governor, John Hickenlooper, who was the mayor of Denver, he got all the communities together, and they're building a light rail system that'll deliver. You think Dulles is out in Kingdom Come, you know where Denver Airport's at. Well, there's going to be a light rail line that delivers people from the Denver Airport into Union Station. And there's 5 other lines. These are the kind of things that America has always done and that we need to get back to. We put Americans to work building American infrastructure and doing it in very innovative, creative ways. I hope you'll help us with this. I hope you'll take your vision, your ideas, your accomplishments, and they can be transferred so that we can get America back to work again. We're going to continue this message. We need your help. If you help us, America will go back to work. We can transfer some of the great things that have happened here around the country. Thank you for all you do for the people. The people are the winners here. They really are. And for all the annoyances and all the orange cones and all the orange barrels, I like seeing orange cones and orange barrels. You know why? Because I know that friends and neighbors are working. I know that America's working. That's a good feeling. And I hope you all have a lovely and blessed holiday with a great sense of accomplishment. You've done a lot. Keep it going. Carry on, but also carry the message. Thank you all very much for including me today.